Hello again. Now, I've been a gamer since I was like 4 when I first got my Atari 2600, and I love that thing. I kept that thing and I was consistently playing it at least until the age of 12 or 14 or something, and then my mother sold it in a garage sale without even asking me, assuming that it's an old game machine that I never played anymore. I miss that thing a lot. Now, I've made a lot of videos about gaming here on YouTube. I've done reviews, I've done parodies on the various things to do with gaming and all that sort of stuff. And one thing that always happens whenever this comes up is I get people asking me what is my personal preference for consoles, or what's my favorite type of games and stuff like that. But it's the choice of console that comes up most whenever I bring up gaming in any way. And I've been accused of being a Nintendo fanboy. I've been accused of being a Microsoft fanboy, or more specifically Xbox fanboy, because I've made other videos about Microsoft as a company, because I'm a Mac user overall. And I've been accused of being a PS3 hater. Because I like to take potshots at them, and sometimes it's just really, really easy to make a nice, funny, quick little gag about some ridiculous thing that's going on in the console war. Console war is the key word here, the key phrase. And this has been around since way back in the days, even before the whole Nintendo versus Sega thing with the Master System and the NES. Way back it was the ZX Spectrum and the Commodore 64 and the Atari 2600 in sort of a primitive form of console war. But these days it's evolved and grown into something huge and massive and vitally important for a whole bunch of people out there for reasons that still confuse me. And you know what? It is the most annoying thing about gamer culture. Now, I don't really consider myself a hardcore gamer. I don't live and die by video games. I've got other things to fill my life with, but video games are an important part of my wind down time, my leisure time, my forget about everything else and just have some fun time. And the fervor and aggression that some people just channel when arguing on the internet or whatever about which is the best console and all that sort of stuff is just beyond ridiculous sometimes. You'd think that these people were personally, solely responsible for creating these devices, and these are their children, their babies, their precious piece of technology that only they are responsible for, and if anyone else mocks it, then they must die horribly or at least be called a fag. The debates generally revolve around things like market penetration, which one has sold more, which one has sold the quickest, which one is in more people's homes, which ones are actually making money for the companies that produce them instead of selling them at a loss, just trying desperately to get market penetration. And then there's the more reasonable things that people really should care about, and that is the quality of the games available on them, the feature sets, the quality of their online experience, and all that sort of jazz. What really lies at the core of all this console war crap is people trying desperately to avoid buyer's remorse. Okay? Because video game consoles aren't cheap, or at least, everything but the Wii isn't cheap, and even that's still a couple of $100, And that's not a drop in the ocean for most people. And a lot of kids out there who love gaming. That's the other thing. When I talk about, I just want to sidetrack for a moment here. When I talk about gaming and I do game reviews and stuff, I always get people saying, aren't you too old to be playing games? I just turned 30 this year. Guess what? I am the exact age of the average gamer worldwide. People like me have been playing games since we were kids. We outnumber the kids out there playing games, okay? So no, I'm not too old to be playing video games. Screw you. And the whole console war thing is spurred on and encouraged by the companies that produce these things, because having customers that are passionate about your product, having customers that will go out there online on message boards and discussion groups and YouTube and all that sort of stuff and evangelize your brand, saying how fantastic and great it is and how the competition is sucky and crap and should be thrown away and should have never been sold in the first place and is worthless and pathetic and all that sort of crap, is a really good thing from marketing and PR standpoint, because you're letting your customers do your job for you, basically. So, they're out there kind of encouraging it. And so are gaming websites and vlogs and podcasts and all that sort of stuff. They constantly feed out a stream every week or every month or so about the latest sale figures and who's performing best in what markets and, who's losing and what rank they all are in the console war and whose handheld gaming thing is spurring on into us. It's all just encouraging this idiotic, just infighting. We are gamers. We should be as one people. Yeah, that's never going to happen, is it? And you know what, the websites and the podcasts and all that sort of stuff and the blogs, their reason for doing this is not because they have any particular stake in which console wins. I mean, they're a gaming website. You're going to go there, whatever gaming console wins. They do it because they know you love to argue about it, so you're going to go to that site and you're going to stay on that site and float around the discussion boards and forums and discussion sections in their blogs and going back and forth with other people arguing and having little flame wars. That means you spend longer on their sites. That means you're exposed to more ads that are on their sites. That means they earn more money. Everybody wins. You get to bitch and complain like a petulant little child about which console is best, and they get some cash in the bank. So getting all evangelical and patriotic about your particular choice of console is just a way to shore up your own sensitive feelings about the risk you took in choosing between 3 different options. Now, I own all 3, and if I was a fanboy, I wouldn't own all 3 now, would I? Now, this puts me in a good position to actually have an objective opinion about which one I prefer. I'm not saying this is my choice is the only choice. My choice is the end of the discussion. My choice should be everybody's choice. I am not saying that. If you disagree with the way I rank these consoles, okay, that discussion about the console war out of the way. What is my preference for gaming? What do I consider the best console out there? What is worth your money? If you were only going to buy one, which one should you buy? That's a question I get asked a lot. I rank them like this.